You already know that the internet is a huge place with unbelievable amounts of information. The real trick to doing research and searching for information that is credible and reliable, especially when you're looking for information about healthcare, health information management, or health informatics, can be a little confusing and maybe even daunting because you don't want to believe everything you read. So let's go through some tips that can help you make sure you are using credible, authentic resources from the internet. The first thing you want to do is narrow down your topic as specific as possible. Use industry terms like telemedicine or oncology as opposed to cancer. You want to make sure that you are ferreting out peripheral information that may really not be directly what you're looking for. Once you narrow down your terms, you want to enter them into a search engine. Now, I'm a big believer in the school's library and databases, but I'm going to focus a little more on using Google and other search engines because once you graduate, you're more likely to use that. In addition, I find that sometimes Google can get you to more recent, newer information than that which goes through the process to get into one of those databases. I know from personal experience. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is type in your narrowest term, and you're looking for the root term. And then, of course, as you probably know, Google, Yahoo, Bing, whatever, will provide you with additional adjectives to, again, further narrow down your search. So you might look at what is already there, which might act as a faster connection, or you might just take a look at what it's going to provide you so then you can further decide. You know, sometimes when we're doing research, we don't yet know what the appropriate additional adjectives might be. But that's the whole fun of a search. Once you get your results, do not automatically choose whatever comes back on top because that is not an indication of credibility or authenticity. What I want you to do first, what you need to do first, is look at the domain portion of the URL. And I highlighted it here in yellow on your screen, and you'll notice we're talking about the .com or .gov or .com. Now, there are many different URL domains, I should say, that are included in the URL. And this is going to give you a better indication of the original source of this information. Let's investigate. .gov are websites that are created and maintained by the U.S. federal government. As an example here on your screen of www.healthit.gov, a fantastic source of information about health and technology or health informatics. These websites are the experts of the experts. They are highly regarded and they are really good sources for authentic information. Never mind politics. This has nothing to do with politics. This has nothing to do with party affiliation or anything like that. These are truly the best of the best, and you want to be able to get as much information from a .gov website, especially with regard to healthcare. .org is a website that is created and maintained by a nonprofit organization. For example, www.aafp.org, which is the American Association of Family Practitioners. or family physicians. They have to go through a lot of paperwork in order to obtain this domain. However, I do want to point out to you that there are a lot of politically affiliated organizations that can have and use the .org domain. So you want to make certain that you are qualifying the expertise of the organization and not falling subject to an agenda where the information might be skewed to one perspective or the other as opposed to being factual. .com indicates a commercial website, and anybody and everybody can have a .com website. So you want to look at these with skepticism, and we're going to talk about how to do due diligence on a .com. So I'm totally not saying that these are bad. They're not all bad. Some of them are bad. But we're going to talk in a few minutes about how you can scrutinize and tell for yourself whether or not it's quality information. This can be good information. For example, www.healthleadersmedia.com is a known industry magazine or journal, and it is reliable information. It's respected, but because it's a member of the media, it's going to be a .com. But we'll talk more about that later. Then a .int means it's an international organization. And a great example of that is the World Health Organization, WHO.int. Again, you want to qualify what kind of organization it is and what their basis is so you can discern fact from opinion, which sometimes can be hard to tell the difference. Other countries, very important for you to notice. .au is Australia, .ca Canada, .uk United Kingdom. Of course, every country has their own designation, especially when you are doing healthcare related research. You want to pay close attention to this, especially because Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, for example, all have very different healthcare delivery systems than we do in the United States. That's not to say they're wrong. It's to say that you need to take that into consideration as you accept the facts presented on their websites. They would be considered valuable and honest. However, it's not the same as the United States. So if you were writing a paper and comparing healthcare delivery systems, then that would be great. But you want to make sure that you specify in Australia they do it this way, and in the United States they do it this way. But looking at how Australia, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Korea, whatever the other country is, how they do things, and not identifying it as information from another country means that you will be misrepresenting the facts, and that is never good. Okay, when it comes to a commercial website or even some of the .orgs, like I mentioned before, the first thing you want to do is click on the About Us link. Sometimes it's right across at the top. Sometimes you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom. You want to know what the expertise of this organization or the company that has created the website, what is their perspective? What is their agenda? You want to look for the credentials specific to your topic, such as healthcare or technology. I was checking out a website that was talking about healthcare and managed care, but the website had no affiliation to healthcare. They had no presentable expertise in healthcare, and the individual who authored the article had a degree in American history and and engineering. Neither of those things give them credentials in healthcare, much less health insurance or managed care. So you want to be very cautious. Now, to be clear, just because somebody does not have a credential like a degree from a university or college or a national certification in a certain area does not mean that they don't have credible information. But you cannot verify that. And with the internet being as large as it is, with millions of websites, why not get your education and information that you will use toward your successful career? Why not be able to confirm that you're getting it from someone who has been able to prove that they know what they're talking about? Another thing you want to make certain that you look for is the date of the information. Healthcare information and technology information should be no older than 3 years. And that's because both healthcare technology and health informatics, which is healthcare technology, innovate very, very quickly. So something that was not a hot topic 3 years ago, or might be only spoken about in predictive sense, in other words, we're working on creating this, is not the same information or quality of information as, well, we've now been doing this for 2 years, here's what we know. And I want to make sure that you have that valid perspective of what is known now, right now. Now, it is important that you take into consideration the currency of the information that you're getting. You are in school right now. You are working toward a degree that may be this year or even next year. You don't want to taint the value of your degree by coming away from this quality education with outdated information. Everything else, you can generally believe that you cannot trust them. You do not want to repeat garbage, especially as a professional. And totally especially when you're on the job or on an interview. Okay, you know, if you're sitting at an interview and talking about something that is outdated, the interviewer will not say anything to you. But chances are very good you will not be offered the job. And you will never know why you were not offered the job. Because why would I hire somebody to do the job today who obviously has an education that was quality 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Well, I wouldn't. This is really important, and employers will expect you to stay on top of what is current and what is valid today in healthcare and not 10 years ago.